Kodash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabaoth, meaning holy, 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 Lord of hosts. That prayer and mantra being said is said to remove any negative energy from amongst the atmosphere all at once. By that being said, it's the same equivalent to light and sage. It removes negative energy and ions out of the airways, which is the ether. Yah, He, Va, He, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, because the first Yod is the Father who art in heaven. He is Anna Chokma, Mother Wisdom, who art in the earth. Va is their creation. In the beginning, Elohim said, let us create them in our image. Va is their creation back to the divine feminine, which is, Mother Wisdom, that guides us, the nurturer. And then, as a collective whole, Yah-He, Va-He, creating the tetragrammaton, as above, so below, the macro prosophus above and the micro prosophus below, because we are the microorganisms in the host of the Elohim. Let's jump right back into it. I told you I was going to do separate videos on the 7 Hermetic Enochian thought principles. And we already did 4 videos. We're going to go into, the law and principle of vibration, Let's jump right into it. This is out of the Kabbalion, not the Kabbalah. We got other lessons for you out of, that book as well, But let's just focus on one thing at a time. Salah? Alright. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. The Kabbalion. The great third Hermetic principle, the principle of vibration, embodies the truth that motion is manifest in everything in the universe, that nothing is at rest, that everything moves, vibrates, and circles. This Hermetic principle was recognized by some of the early Greek philosophers who embodied it in their systems, but then for centuries it was lost sight by the thinkers outside the Hermetic ranks. But in the 19th century, physical science rediscovered the truth, and the 20th century scientific discoveries have added additional proof of the correctness and truth of this centuries-old Hermetic doctrine. The Hermetic teachings are that not only is everybody in constant movement and vibration, but that the differences between the various manifestations of the universal power are due entirely to the varying rate and mode of vibrations. Not only this, but that even the all in itself manifests a constant vibration, Most High being a divine frequency, of such an infinite degree of intensity and rapid motion that it may be practically considered as at rest. The teachers directing the attention of the students to the fact that even on the physical plane, a rapidly moving object, such as a revolving wheel, wheels inside the wheels and the cycles and periods, seems to be at rest. The teachings are to the fact that spirit is at one end of the pole of vibration and the other pole being certain extremely gross forms of matter. This is where, like it says in the Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon, talks about these grotesque beings, Grotesque means the gross, the lower vibrations of the creation, the grotesque, Between these two poles are millions upon millions of different rates and modes of vibration. That's why your vibrational frequency is very key. Modern science has proven that all that we can call matter and energy are but modes of vibratory motion. And some of the more advanced scientists are rapidly moving towards the position of the occultists who hold that the phenomenon of mind are likewise modes of vibration or motion. Let us see what science has to say regarding the question of vibrations and matter and energy, In the first place, science teaches that all matter manifests in some degree, the vibrations arising from the temperature or heat, but an object cold or hot both being but degrees of the same thing. It manifests certain heat vibrations and in that sense is in motion and vibration. Then all particles of matter are in circular motion, just like the chakras are, circular motion, rising from the low state to the higher state in the color of rainbows, from corpuscles to suns. The planets revolve around suns and many of them turn on their axis. The suns move around greater central points, and these are believed to move around still greater, and so on in infinitum, the molecules of which the particular kinds of matter are composed are in a state of constant vibration and movement around each other and against each other. The molecules are composed of atoms, which likewise are in a state of constant movement and vibration. The atoms are composed of corpuscles, sometimes called electrons, ions, etc., which also are in a state of rapid motion, revolving around each other, and which manifest a very rapid state and mode of vibration. And so we see that all forms of matter manifest vibration in accordance with the Hermetic principle of vibration. And so it is with the various forms of energy. Science teaches the light, heat, magneticism, and electricity are but forms of vibratory motion connected in some way with the probably emanating from the ether. Science does not as yet attempt to explain the nature of the phenomena known as cohesion, which is the principle of molecular attraction, nor chemical affinity with an A, which is the principle of atomic attraction, nor gravitation, the great mystery of the three, which is the principle of attraction by which every particle or mass of matter is bound to every other particle or mass. These three forms of energy are not as yet understood by science, yet the writer inclines to the opinion that these two are manifestations of some form of vibratory energy, a fact which the Hermeticists have held and taught for ages past. The universal ether, which is postulated by science without its nature being understood clearly, it is held by the Hermeticists to be but a higher manifestation of that which is erroneously called matter. That is to say, matter at a higher degree of vibration is called by them the ethereal substance. The Hermeticists teach that this ethereal substance is of extreme tenuity and elasticity, and pervades universal space, serving as a medium of transmission of waves of vibratory energy such as heat, light, electricity, magneticism, etc. The teachings are that the ethereal substance is a connecting link between the forms of vibratory energy known as matter, on the one hand, the energy or force on the other, and also that is manifest a degree of vibration in rate and mode entirely in its own. Scientists have offered the illustration of a rapid moving wheel top or cylinder to show the effects of the increasing rate of vibration. The illustration supposes a wheel top or revolving cylinder running at a low rate of speed. We will call this revolving thing the object in the following out the illustration. Let us suppose the object moving slowly. It may be seen readily, but no sound of its movement reaches the ear. The speed is gradually increased. In a few moments, its movement becomes so rapid that a deep growl or low note may be heard. Then, as the rate is increased, the note rises one in the musical scale. Then the motion being still further increased, the next highest note is distinguished. Then one after another, all the notes of the musical scale appear, rising higher and higher as the motion is increased. Finally, when the motions have reached a certain rate, the final note perceptible to human ears is reached, and the shrill, piercing shriek dies away, and silence follows. No sound is heard from the revolving object, the rate of motion being so high that the human ear cannot register the vibration. Then come the perception of rising degrees of the heat. Then, after quite a time, the eye catches a glimpse of the object becoming a dull reddish color. As the rate increases, the red becomes brighter. Then, as the speed is increased, the red melts into an orange. Now, this is breaking down the chakras. Then the orange melts into a yellow. Then follow successively the shades of green, blue, indigo, and finally violet, which are all the chakra colors and the colors of the rainbow. As the rate of the speed increases, then the violet shades away and all the colors disappear, the human eye not being able to register them. But there are invisible rays emanating from the revolving object, the rays that are used in photographing and other suitable rays of light. Then begun to manifest the peculiar ray known as the X-rays, etc. As the constitution of the object changes. Electricity and magnetism are emanated when the appropriate rate of vibration is attained. When the object reaches a certain rate of vibration, its molecules disintegrate and resolve themselves into the original element of atoms. Then the atoms, following the principle of vibration, are separated into the countless corpuscles of which they are composed. And finally, even the corpuscles disappear and the object may be said to be composed of the ethereal substance. And every thought, emotion, or mental state has its corresponding rate and mode of vibration, and by an effort of the will of the person or the other person, these mental states may be reproduced, just as a musical tone may be reproduced by causing an instrument to vibrate at a certain rate, just as color may be produced in the same way. By a knowledge of the principle of vibration as applied to mental phenomena, one may polarize his mind at any degree he wishes, thus gaining a perfect control over his mental state, moods. In the same way, he may affect the minds of others, producing the desired mental state in them. Principle of vibration underlies the wonderful phenomenon of the power manifested by the masters and adepts who are able to apparently set aside the law of nature, but who in readily are simply using one law against the other, one principle against the other, who accomplish their results by changing the vibrations of material objects or forms of energy, and thus perform what are commonly called miracles. As one of the old Hermetics writers have truly said, he who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. Salah, so be it.